right, welcome to the weekly entry. I'm not going to say the other name because I am too embarrassed. Since it's the second week, I'm going to be switching things up and talk about the topic first and then, how my week went after that, yada, yada, yada. Now, what is boredom? Funnily enough, there isn't really a universal definition for boredom, but the one that I'll be defining and believe is the most common comes from the American Psychological Association. It is defined as a state of weariness or ennui resulting from a lack of engagement with stimuli in the environment. It is generally considered to be one of the least desirable conditions of daily life and is often identified by individuals as a cause of feeling depressed, and it can be seen as the opposite of interest and surprise. Now, the common stigma for boredom is that it's something that should be avoided or that it's a personal flaw like a lack of creativity or imagination or just having no worth ethic. Boredom is often viewed as a shameful emotion that should be avoided as it doesn't benefit you whatsoever and makes you feel like doo-doo. It's an emotion that isn't taken as seriously as it doesn't necessarily harm you emotionally as much as sadness or jealousy, and it's much difficult to experience boredom or tackle it when we have objects that we can use 24/7 to keep ourselves distracted and occupied. I believe that we should attempt to try and understand boredom more as it can help pinpoint much larger issues to one's psychological health. I feel this way because according to an article by the National Library of Medicine, boredom can and has been shown to be linked with depression. It's also been stated that it can decrease productivity and actually promote more negative lifestyles like substance abuse, self harm, or engaging in constant distractions like shows, games, and movies to the point of it affecting your daily life like work or your relationships. By the way, not to say that these things are bad, but it should be done in moderation and not be used as a way to escape boredom or daily mundane activities that could help you. More on that later. There was a study done where men and women were put in a room and told to sit there and do nothing but just think and daydream, and were left with a button that would shock them whenever it was pressed. Surprisingly, people were more willing to physically feel pain than to just sit for a while and just think and do nothing. Apparently, in the experiment, 67% of men shocked themselves as opposed to 25% of women. This here honestly just proves how dangerous boredom can be and how it's something that should be taken seriously. Just the fact that you'd want to harm yourself so you don't have to feel bored is extremely worrying. Fun fact, according to an analysis done in 2005 by J. Craig Wallace of Oklahoma State University, it is believed that men actually experience boredom more often than women because they seek more external novelties. This often leads to boredom in other aspects of their lives, like sexual boredom in their relationship or in specific activities overall, like sports. Now, this might come to a surprise to you, uh, probably not, but being bored is actually good. Why, you may ask? Well, I'm here to try to explain it to you. Boredom has been shown to spark creativity and innovation, as all you have while being bored is your brain. Your brain, when bored, switches to its default mode network. What's the default mode network? According to a recent article published in 2025, it is when specific structures in your brain switch on when you don't have anything to think about. For example, if your phone is charging and you're waiting for your flight, your default mode network turns on as you have nothing to think about in that current moment. It's an experience nobody likes, quite honestly, and if you say you do, you're lying. This mode makes you think about your meaning in life, more existential questions, thoughts that are uncomfortable, admittedly. It's the reason why you'll pull out your phone even if you have to wait for 10 seconds for the light to turn green. Apparently, the more you avoid these uncomfortable thoughts and questions, the more depression, anxiety, and a sense of hollowness grows as you don't give yourself the time to properly process and ask these questions. Letting yourself be bored can actually decrease stress as it gives you a sort of mental break from the overstimulation you're going throughout your daily life. It can also lead to problem solving as your mind wanders around, creating new connections during simple activities like walking, yoga, or just sitting around and doing nothing. I think the best thing boredom does is help with self reflection. You sit in your own thoughts, thinking about what you did, what you've done, what you can or could have done better, etc. That's actually my main reason for pursuing boredom more. A journey of self improvement, you could say. Finally, and this should come to no surprise, but the more you practice being bored, the easier it is for you to not feel dreadful. You build a resilience to boredom, and that in turn helps you to manage your feelings and other thoughts in a way where you don't need external distractions. This can also, in turn, make you feel less bored of your life as you're used to boredom. You aren't seeking distractions all the time, and thus can actively enjoy relationships or hobbies without doing so for the sake of avoiding boredom. Obviously, this isn't a complete guarantee, but it is important to note how beneficial boredom truly is. You won't feel better distracting yourself all the time just to avoid the annoying pain that is boredom. For example, for me, when I used to avoid boredom all the time, I mostly spent it just either listening to music, admittedly, something I still kind of do, even when I try to practice being bored or do mundane tasks like cleaning or taking out the trash, stuff that would take me a minute or just a couple minutes. I would actively just find a way to just put something on. I would literally get groceries or go get something that would take me like around 5 minutes, and I'd have either music or just a random video plugged up in my earbud, just listening to it, not really even paying attention to it, just kind of using it to distract myself and sort of relieve that boredom. But yeah, so, how does someone practice boredom? Removing distractions or purposefully letting yourself be bored doing mundane tasks like I was just talking about. For example, washing dishes, walking, or just even waiting if you're doing something, or like if you're at a DMV. Actually, no. Actually, DMV is fair. Those are hella long. No, I take that one back. Trying to schedule nothing moments is the most effective one for me. It's kind of like meditating, except instead of solely focusing on your breathing, you just let your mind roam and think about whatever. I personally spend 15 minutes every 4 days doing nothing, just a simple sit and roam. I've actually found that it helps me reflect on myself more, helps me rationalize situations I've been in, and helps me come up with new ideas for my stories and drawings. The key is to simply acknowledge that you're bored and trying not to escape it. I promise, it will benefit you. Also, one more thing I'd like to know, and this is just a personal theory, nothing based in actual facts. But I feel as if people engage in more dangerous and disastrous forms of distraction because it's one easier for them to do. They are not taught the necessary tools to combat boredom in a healthy way, or they, like I discussed in my last video, are unable to tackle boredom in more healthier ways because of their living conditions. It wasn't until I saw therapists discussing the topic of boredom, mostly through articles and videos and reels, ironically enough, doom scrolling, until I personally started tackling the emotion in a more healthy way. I also want to state that I myself still battle boredom. Sometimes I won't even realize that I'm purposefully distracting myself by doom scrolling or listening to music rather than just sitting in silence. It definitely isn't an easy path, but the more you do it, the better. The best way I'd like to think about it is think about it like consistency, not intensity. Just try to aim for more tiny uh, points of just being bored. Just like what I do, like 15 minutes every 4 days. It's kind of like that, like a blip, something don't really notice a lot. Finally, for the weekly recap, this is gonna be short. Trying to get more used to not dragging out the format too long. So, what did I accomplish this week? Well, I started a proper and more regulated exercise schedule, as I stated in the week prior, which, while hard, not impossible, I actually found it a lot more easier than my previous one. I guess the only problem is it takes up a lot of time, like a lot of time. As much as it wasn't a hassle, I did have trouble getting more into the cardio aspect of it, and more flexibility exercises. So that's something that I want to focus on this week. Actually, complete the full regimen. That would actually be pretty cool, and I'd be really proud of myself for doing that. Also, did a lot of self-reflection, as always. Hell, I even surprised myself for how I reacted in some situations, in a good way. So that's always nice. I'm surprised that I was able to kind of like respond quicker because I'm usually a very shy person, but I was very surprised that I kind of responded quickly, because usually my mind kind of blanks when I get asked a question or something. It kind of takes me a while to answer it. Pretty much my goal for this week is to actually do my full exercises with proper form, and to also try to meditate and be bored more. And also, I'd like to start some more personal projects, which would be really nice. I have this one project that I have in store that I've had cooking since November. I've been putting off for a long time, so I would really like to start production on that. It'd be really awesome. I think you guys would love it. Um, but yeah, this has been the weekly entry of next week is going to be all about patience. This one's going to be a doozy. If you watched all the way up until now, thank you very much. I am extremely grateful. And I'll see you next week. Take care. I hope you guys can not hear that. These geese are really pissing me off.